Right now, a single, incredibly secretive software company probably knows more about your country's military secrets, bank accounts, and health data than the government itself does. Born from the ashes of 9/11 and funded directly by the CIA, this company built an AI that acts kind of like a real-life Skynet. If you think your personal data is safe, you really need to see what this black box is doing behind closed doors. Welcome to This Explainer, where we're cracking open the vault on Silicon Valley's most secretive bunker, Palantir, to show you exactly how this one software engine quietly became the invisible operating system of the modern world. From the very beginning, their goal was just incredibly ambitious. They weren't trying to build the next social media app, right? They didn't just want to aggregate information either. They actually wanted a God mode system, an intelligence engine capable of seeing every hidden connection in the world's data, a tool that could literally map out the future. Today, this black box runs everything from frontline artillery strikes in Ukraine to the massive, super complex supply chains of the Fortune 500. Yet, despite its massive influence over all our daily lives, almost no one knows how it actually works. The mechanics remain completely hidden from the public eye. So let's change that today, shall we? Part 1. The CIA's secret startup. Okay, to really understand how Palantir became the giant it is today, we've got to jump back to the aftermath of September 11th. U.S. intelligence agencies realized a terrifying truth. They had all the data to see the attack coming, but absolutely no way to connect the dots. So, enter Silicon Valley icon Peter Thiel. Having just used algorithms to crush credit card fraud at PayPal, Thiel stepped in with a pretty radical proposition. He basically said, look, if we can use software to find stolen credit cards, why on earth can't we use it to find stolen airplanes? Alongside the CIA's highly secretive venture capital arm In-Q-Tel, they funded a bunker of completely isolated engineers. Their mission? Build software to sift through oceans of messy data to find the next threat hiding in plain sight. Because before Palantir, intelligence agencies were literally drowning in tens of thousands of messy, siloed spreadsheets. Different bureaucracies simply couldn't communicate with each other. It was chaos. But Palantir transitioned all this into one centralized God view interface. We're talking a single pane of glass connecting every single dot across countless disconnected databases. At the center of this secretive bunker was their philosopher-turned-CEO, Alex Karp. Now, while Karp positioned the company as an ethical necessity, famously saying they were in the business of understanding, not surveillance, beneath the rhetoric, Palantir wasn't just selling software. They were selling paranoid agencies the ultimate promise, absolute certainty. The promise that somewhere in all that noise was the truth, and only Palantir could extract it. Part 2. Connecting dots in combat. Fast forward to 2007. The U.S. was deeply embedded in conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan. And the military was once again drowning in intelligence reports with no actionable way to process them. Enter Palantir's specialized military software, codenamed Gotham. This acted kind of like Google Maps for war zones. It stitched together bomb data, insurgent networks, and cell phone logs in real time. A commander could sit at a screen and visualize the entire kill chain. It didn't just show a bomb, it showed who funded it, who made the call to trigger it, and exactly where they were located. It was so insanely effective that special forces actually began explicitly requesting it by name. And the sheer audacity of this young company was just unprecedented. Back in Washington, Palantir was definitely seen as an outsider. So when the U.S. Army tried to hand a massive $200 million intel contract to a legacy company without competitive bidding, Palantir did the unthinkable. They sued the U.S. military. And they actually won. The court ruled the Army had to consider Palantir software, which firmly cemented them as an unavoidable force in national defense. Part 3. The domestic data pivot. Having proven themselves in the chaos of foreign war zones, Palantir didn't just pack up and go home. No, their reach controversially expanded right into domestic operations. And the migration of this technology was rapid. Starting in foreign counterterrorism, they soon secured massive contracts with ICE and the Department of Homeland Security. Suddenly, the exact same algorithms that once stopped IEDs in Afghanistan were mapping domestic social networks and predicting local threat levels right here at home. The tools of war had literally become the tools of domestic law enforcement. Now, this pivot definitely did not go unnoticed. It caused intense internal friction within the company itself. Employees protested, and some engineers even resigned over the moral implications of their work, with one famously stating they wanted to stop terrorists, not deport families. Simultaneously, civil rights groups began raising massive alarms about the company's evolution into a state-sponsored crystal ball. It really serves as a stark reminder of how rapidly technology designed for national security can blur into widespread domestic surveillance. Part 4. Operating Corporate America. So Palantir realized that while governments move pretty slowly, CEOs can sign massive checks overnight. So they pivoted directly into Fortune 500 boardrooms with a brand new product called Foundry. You can think of Foundry as a buttoned-up, enterprise-friendly version of Gotham. It essentially became a digital consigliere for the corporate world. Rather than just showing executives pretty graphs, this magic rectangle actively integrated massive amounts of corporate data to dictate decisions. It was literally telling executives what manufacturing plants to shut down or what shipping routes to alter for maximum efficiency. And Foundry quickly became ubiquitous, empowering the modern world. Today, it quietly runs everything, from optimizing complex oil drilling logistics to speeding up clinical trials for massive pharmaceutical companies to even predicting market movements for hedge funds. During the pandemic, it forecasted COVID-19 PPE shortages and managed national vaccine distributions. All of this happens on a massive global scale, entirely behind the scenes, without the public ever really knowing how this black box dictates our global economy. When Palantir finally went public via a quiet direct listing in 2020, Wall Street got a look at their books, and, well, traditional metrics simply didn't apply. Their profitability was weird, and their growth speed was remarkably slow for a tech giant. But honestly, investors didn't care. The demand was through the roof. Why? Because they weren't just buying software. They were buying the mythology, the secrecy, and the sheer geopolitical power of the company. They were basically buying a piece of the invisible operating system of the world. Part 5. AI for Modern War. As we entered the 2020s, Palantir transitioned from simply assisting military intelligence to actively becoming the military's algorithmic mind. We see this most clearly during the 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine. Palantir didn't send boots on the ground, they sent data. They deployed their massive data fusion engine to help Ukraine map Russian supply lines and optimize artillery strikes in real time. Branded as AI for warfighting, this system literally whispered to operators exactly where to aim on the battlefield, completely redefining modern warfare. Now, impartially looking at the fierce debate surrounding this immense power, we see a massive divide. On one side, civil liberty groups dub Palantir the Oracle of Orwell, raising severe concerns about algorithmic discrimination, racial profiling, and flawed predictive policing models. On the other side, Palantir defends itself by stating they simply build the tools, they just built the hammer. Furthermore, they emphasize their strict moral line, categorically refusing to sell their software to adversarial or authoritarian regimes like China. Ultimately, it is a profound debate over accountability in the age of algorithmic power. And they're only pushing these boundaries further. With their newest AI engine, Meta Constellation, Palantir is no longer just reacting to data. They are proactively simulating massive global events. Whether it's modeling an economic collapse, tracking a global disease outbreak, or predicting civil unrest before it even happens, this software is designed to help modern states and corporations proactively shape the future, not just respond to it. As we wrap up this explainer on the ultimate invisible operating system, I want to leave you with a really provocative thought. We've seen how Palantir evolved from a small CIA-funded startup into a massive entity that manages wars, borders, and the global supply chains that deliver your goods. So the real question is this: when a single, unaccountable private software engine possesses more data and operational insight than your cabinet, your generals, and your central bank combined, who is actually in control of our future?